Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty. Keep going.
Wherewith Christ has made us free.
Wherewith Christ have made us free. Wait a minute, don't go any further. This is going to be one of them read-on messages. So you just going to have to slow down a little bit. I know you may be used to just reading on through, but slow down a little bit. I want to kind of get you to digest that. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ have made us free. Why would you want to get yourself all tangled up again and yoked up in sin if Christ has set you free? That's a question. If you are free, why would you want to be bound? Anybody ever been bound before? I've been bound in the yoke of sin, and to the point where I couldn't help myself. The devil had me doing things that I shouldn't have done, but I was bound in sin. And so Paul was writing to the church of Galatia saying, stand fast in the liberty wherewith Christ have made us free. And go on and read that B clause.
And be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage.
Now, why would you want to get all bound up again with the yoke of bondage? Why would you, if you God done delivered you from drugs, why would you want to go back and start taking drugs all over again? Anybody that ever been bound by crack? Anybody been bound by LSD and PCP and been bound by what's that other drug they got? Heroin. Been bound by crystal meth. That stuff takes you out of your mind. Why would you want to be entangled again with that? Well, I go even, since that's so strong, let me go a little simpler. Anybody been bound by MD 2020? Anybody been bound by Schlitz malt liquor, Coke 45, 40, the 8-ball? And have you all staggering like you're out of your mind and you can't hardly stand up? If you have ever been like that, why would you want to go back to that? If the Lord done set you free from that. Oh, I ain't gonna get no help, but I'm gonna teach today. I'm gonna teach on holiness today. We are not want to go back to those things. Some of us were bound with going from woman to woman, looking for love in all the wrong places. Some of us were bound by going to man after man after man after man, bound in lust. Oh yeah, see, y'all thought it was just some things that you can get bound. You can get hooked on that. And say, well, you know, I just gotta have it. Way over in the midnight hour, look like you're chasing after it. Go down there to that 13th verse of the same chapter and start there.
For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. Look
now, you've been called to be free. Anybody ever been to jail? Don't nobody raise your hand. I don't want nobody to raise your hand. I don't want. Anybody been to jail? Amen. You don't have to say nothing. But if you ever been to jail and you get free, show enough free from eating that old nasty food that they have in there, so you know that I must know something about it, huh? They got some nasty food in jail. Them old dry bologna sandwiches, that cheese that they be trying to get. Amen. But you be waiting on that old dry side. You be so hungry, you say, Lord, if I could just get me one of them old dry, but woo, Jesus, have mercy. If I could just get me one of them old nasty dry cheese and bologna sandwiches to tie me over. They don't feed you enough in there. Folks resort to trading off stuff in there. Man, I give you a piece of cake for your sandwich. I give you milk for your bread. And they bring some of the sloppy and slopper. I said, how did they put this mess together? Amen. One day I'm going to tell y'all something. Let you know. But if you ever been bound, you don't want to be, you enjoy your liberty. But then Paul said, don't go on, keep reading now, minister.
Because only use not liberty for...
Don't get it twisted. Don't start just because you're free, start saying you do anything. God's supposed to excuse it. See, that's what some folks do. They, I'm free, but I can guess, Some folks say this, two saved folks can get together because there's two white sheets, and two white sheets can't dirty up each other. But I guarantee you, they put some wrinkles in there some kind of way. Oh, y'all ain't getting this at all. Y'all gonna get this when y'all go out the door. Y'all gonna get this when you go out the door. So you may be clean, but when you jump off in the bed with somebody that you dirtying up something, you starting to cause some wrinkles to go on. Well, Lord help me, Jesus. Go ahead. For an occasion to the flesh.
But by love serve one another.
But by love serve one another. Now this is where it's at right here, y'all. Go on to the 14th verse.
For all the law is fulfilled.
Now look, some of y'all that still believe we under the law, let me tell you how it's fulfilled. Tell you how the law is fulfilled. Go ahead.
Even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor.
Thou shalt love thy neighbor as yourself. Because if you think about the first five have something to do with not committing something against your neighbor. Don't covet. Don't steal. Don't lie. Don't bear false witness. That's against your neighbor. So if you love your neighbor as yourself, how many of y'all gonna lie on yourself? That don't make no sense, does it? How many of you gonna covet something of yourself? Does that make any sense? Why would you then even steal something from yourself? Well, that's what the Bible said. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go on down to that 15th verse.
If ye bite and devour.
Oh, Jesus, help me, Lord, help me, Lord. If you bite and what? Devour one another.
Take heed that ye be not consumed of.
You fool around, get to fighting with one another. You bite and devour one another. And you fool around and consume one another with all of this hatred. All of this malice. All of this strife. So, don't let me get the... Lord have mercy, Jesus. Huh? You got to be careful. But we have to love one another. And not call ourselves fighting one another. But we will devour one another. Go into that 6th chapter, the 1st verse. I like the way you're reading. Go on and keep reading.
Brethren, if a man be overtaken...
Now, some of us think we're better than anybody else. So let me help you out now, right now. If a man be overtaken in the fault, you seen him, you seen her, you saw him coming out the motel, you know, and you seen him, you may have seen him standing on the corner with a 40. You see him, you may have seen him swapping spit with each other. You seen him. You may have even seen him with the hand in the dish. Brethren, if any man be overtaken, mean that you done caught him. He's all in it. She's all in it. And you know about it. Read on.
Ye which are spiritual.
Wait a minute, now you spiritual. You say, I'm all that. I'm in the church. I go to church. and the Lord is on my side. And I can't dirty my hands up like that. That type of spiritual. You that are spiritual. What does it do? Restore. Mean with your pious, with your self-righteous self, with your I'm so godly self. It said restore that one that you just seen getting in all of that mess. Now why you got to restore? I'm going down through that.
With a spirit of meekness.
Meekness. What if you do this, why should you do it? Come on. Considering that you ain't made it to heaven yet yourself. You ain't arrived yet. Some folks think they already sitting there talking to Jesus, and they're having a dinner with the angels, and they flying around with cherub wings and everything else. No, you ain't got there yet. That's why you need to consider. Consider why. Lest you get into some mess yourself. Oh, hang on, I will never be caught up in nothing like that. Well, you caught up into something. If it's no more than hating your brother. If it's no more than backbiting and backstabbing. You caught up into something. Oh, I'm better than that. No, you ain't. The Bible said, considering yourself, lest you also be what? Tempted, meaning that you can have some problem yourself. So you got to realize what's going on. Amen. Thank God for the brother. Sit down right there, my brother. Help him out. Help him to have a seat. Get up off the floor, are you? Consider yourself, lest you also be tempted. Keep on going down there. Keep going. I'm talking about holiness now.
Bear ye one another's burdens.
Bear ye one another's burdens. This is how we prove that we love one another. This is how, man, I can't really talk about you so bad and you caught up in all you got. I might be caught up in it too one day. Amen. Amen. Yes, I want to pray that the Lord don't never let me walk out of here and be foolish. But how do I know what will happen? And you may be strong today, but something can hit you so hard. Amen. Some folks think they made of iron. You ain't made of iron. I want to let you know that. Amen. Ain't nobody in here made of iron. Amen. We all flesh and blood. I don't care how tough you try to be. I don't care how macho you try to be. You know, they taught up on, you know, men should cry and men should be tough and blah, 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 all of that. And don't let them see you. Man, forget all that mess. Amen. Throw that mess in the garbage can. Amen. I'm flesh and blood just like you. And sometimes I have some struggles that you may not see, but then you may see them. But then that's where you come in to help bear my burdens. Amen. It's what it said, ain't it? You reading it in your book, right? It said bear you one another's burden, right? I say, oh, well, Lord, I'm yes. Because I got some struggles, you got some struggles, and we need one another. Amen. Yeah. Folks walking around here think they tough as nails. You ain't that tough. Amen. Folks just don't see you. Sometimes you get over there in your own house and behind your closed door, and there are things that happen that we may not see. Then you come out and you try to save face. You don't have to do all of that. Amen. That's right. Jesus cried himself. Amen. Broke down and cried when he looked out and saw all of the situation that was going on. Now, you ain't tougher than Jesus. Amen.